It is Friday, and that means it's time for Friday Follies. You got it. And for that, we turn to Fox News contributor Raymond Arroyo. All right, Raymond, tell us about this new ad from, what is it, Biden's inaugural committee?
Yeah, as the president's poll numbers slip, and after that disastrous presser of the other day, Laura, the Biden-Harris inaugural committee has produced a new ad to mark the one-year anniversary of Bidenism. They've recruited a familiar face.
America is the home of the brave. It's why we keep getting up, no matter how many times we get knocked down. Restaurants have opened their doors. Shops and businesses are buzzing again all over the country.
Tom Hanks does not mention that CNBC report, Laura, where 3.1 million Americans can't return to work because their small businesses have closed down. I mean, the fact that Biden shows up at the end of this ad in a very brief cameo, that tells you the tale. They had to use somebody like Tom Hanks because, to voters, Biden's kryptonite at this point. The amazing thing is, The Simpsons predicted all of this years ago.
Hello, I'm Tom Hanks. The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine.
Tousle my hair, Mr. Hanks.
Sure thing, son.
There it is, Laura, following the playbook. Look, it was either this little Tom Hanks movie or a Springsteen video. The inauguration committee had to find some way to blow this money. I guess this looked like a good idea to them.
Tom Hanks doing that commercial and trying to spend, gold out of, you know what? I don't know. I think he would have had a more positive effect if he had just been talking to that basketball on that island. That would have been far more.
Yeah, I think you
effective.
can call this little movie "Saving President Biden." That would have been a better title for it, but
now,
we'll leave it there.
Speaking of ads, tell me about the new ad kicking up dust in your state. It comes from the Democrat senatorial candidate who?
Yeah. His name's Gary Chambers, and he's challenging Senator John Kennedy. And I guess he thought this was the best way to start his candidacy on a high.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Lovely. Talk about going up in smoke. How is this a platform for in a state where the governor just signed a law, Laura, reducing penalties for marijuana possession, and where the New Orleans DA won't even prosecute drug purchases? And Laura, Chambers, by the way, is not the only one trying to create a new brand, which we'll get to in a moment. But can you believe this? I mean, our homicides are up 80% in the city of New Orleans. All of this is tied, by the way, to increasing carjackings, 9 carjackings in 15 hours in New Orleans last weekend. And we're worried about prosecuting less crimes. I don't think that sells here or anywhere else.
Yeah, when you talk to police in the areas that they've legalized marijuana, everyone thinks, oh, it's great, it's going to be great, great, great. Well, it turns out more crime, more violence, more pot comes across the border because it's cheaper than the stuff you buy in the stores. Keep them numb and dumb, Raymond. That's the whole goal. Numb and dumb from kids on up.
Well, it's just a bad brand, I think, for Chambers, particularly when we've got lawlessness everywhere we turn. And Mars Wrigley, the candy company this week, Laura, they've unveiled a redesigned group of M&M characters to be more inclusive and welcoming and unifying in this progressive world. I'm sure this will make them much more appetizing to you.
Oh, my God. So they've gone with Uncle Ben's and the Land O'Lakes lady. That's gone. They should have an island of misfit old brands, and they should all live together. So the green M&M can be with the syrup lady, and then you could have them all together, and they could talk about how the old days people just enjoyed the products. They weren't really thinking about politics. All right. Well, Raymond, wait a minute, because put the side by side up.
Okay.
What has actually changed? What's different?
Well, aside from putting a green M&M in sneakers, nothing changed here. All they did was get rid of the high heels she was wearing. I don't see how this is more inclusive or empowering to anybody or welcoming. In fact, I have to tell you, I resent the entire thing because looking at this, granting personhood to food products, it makes me feel like a candy cannibal every time I eat one of these things. I have sworn them off entirely. I only eat Junior Mints. They have no personality, no eyelashes, and no shoe wear, and I don't hear their screams as I swallow them. So
What about
that's probably good.
Raymond? Where does this leave the fruit of the loom pieces of fruit? Where do they? What's going to happen to those grapes? Those grapes are trouble.
Guys are scratching at their waistband trying to control those unruly fruit of the loom. I don't know.
God.
I find all of this crazy and a desperate seeking of attention, and maybe they got it.
Diversity, equity, inclusion, and more cavities. All right, Raymond, great to see you. Have a great weekend.